Losing a loved one is never easy, but thanks to Heritage Funeral Home, there's a way that we can help you get through this process. And so, Alice and Barron, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, number one, to being a part of Heritage Funeral Home and offering
Absolutely.
grief counseling classes. And so tell us exactly what those are.
Okay. We've conducted an adult class for almost a year now, and it was at one time on premises there at Heritage East Brainerd Chapel. We have since relocated, just for convenience sake too, but we provide the tools and materials necessary to help people kind of find a healthy way to move forward instead of sort of staying stuck in that complicated grief.
And that's, talk about the importance of that, because grief is never anything we can anticipate or prepare for.
No, it isn't.
So a lot of times it catches us in a state of shock in many ways.
Right.
So what is that process of us overcoming that?
I think the biggest thing is people try to either live and look at what they could have done in the past, maybe just look back so much that they're, what if I could have so-and-so, or how could I have changed something? Or they're anticipating the future without their loved one, an anniversary coming, a birthday, Christmas, whatever that is, whatever it looks like. They're so caught up in the future and looking back that they're in a constant state of angst. So we really try to focus on keeping people centered in the present, just kind of living their life in the moment, cherishing these moments, because the loved ones that are still here with them need a healthy person to still love and care for.
And you're still helping us, cherish and love and memory,
absolutely.
And have the memory of our our past one, but also continue forward.
Right. The key is not to replace that, but to pay memorial and tribute that person as much as possible.
And so a lot of people may be nervous. They may say, oh, this sounds great. I could use this. But maybe they're nervous because grief is a very intimate subject. These are group classes, but talk about the atmosphere.
Okay. On average, we have between, say, 5 to 9 people. We have had larger classes for, say, monthly groups at different facilities, but the weekly ones tend to be about that size, and there's so much wisdom around them. They'll be surprised if they just want to come and listen, or if they do want to participate, there's that opportunity, and they find themselves really jumping in and saying, I agree with that. I feel that I'm glad to know. And
that's how I feel too.
Yes, I hear the quote, I'm glad I'm not the crazy one. And then it's nothing about being crazy. It's just a typical response to that severe loss in our lives.
And you also offer these classes for children. So talk about, what inspired you to do that and why this is so important at such a young age.
There is a huge need to me, and especially in this area, for grief recovery for children, in that parents or grandparents or caregivers don't have the tools necessary to communicate with children. They see them a little bit in the evening and homework and rush to bed and bath time and all that, but they act out in different ways. Right. They kind of isolate, or they, again, start bedwetting. They're emotional for various reasons, and it's a natural response, but they go, I just don't know, so I'll give them a cookie or an ice cream, or we'll take a trip. So the key is communication. If we can give them the proper tools to communicate and activities to bring that out, it's easier for them to process than just to keep it inside.
A lot of emotion for a little person.
Oh, it is.
So it's, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we want to talk about that these are at that newer venue and on a new night. Give us the details we need to know.
Okay, so our adult classes called Journey of Hope is every Wednesday evening now, and it's at 6:30 at Graceworks Church at 6445 Lee Highway. Very easy off the interstate. And these, again, aren't no cost to anyone in the community who needs it. So we're happy to provide that, as well as refreshments.
Do we need to pre-register?
It is a good idea, but not necessarily. You can show up, and each week does not depend on the week prior. So you can jump in any time of those 6 weeks.
Good to know.
I have people who continue on even after 6 weeks, so it's awesome.
Whatever we need,
yes,
right?
As long as you need it.
Perfect.
The one for children is just, again, it is for adults to gather those materials to take home to work with their children.
Right.
Because that's just vital. It's just necessary.
Learning how the little ones are communicating.
Yeah, and that one will begin in May.
That one begins in May.
We're shooting for summer after school.
And all of this is available online at heritagechattanooga.com. So if you want to check out the dates, remind yourself of the location or phone numbers, of course, heritagechattanooga.com. You can always call with questions.
Absolutely.
Allison, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be with you.
All right, we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Sounds great.